We know hot takes, but we also know bad takes. And I got a few bad takes for y'all. Not for me, I promise. All my takes are mwah. Okay, but we have a few takes today that really are borderline just not getting it. Up first is a situation revolving a parking spot and unfortunately somebody losing their life. Now, a lot of people framed it as a fight over a parking spot. A woman ended up, unaliving somebody over a parking spot, but that's not what it was, and that's the bad take. This woman protected themselves, gave the guy unlimited chances, basically, to disengage and get away from her, but he decided that there's no way you're going to do that. You're just a woman. I'm going to keep pressuring you, pushing your buttons, and getting as close as possible, and basically seeming like they might do something bad. She did what she could and what she needed to. But let's take a look.
Today, somebody got shot and killed in Fort Lauderdale over an argument about a parking space, I believe.
It wasn't about a parking space, and this is something really important for all men to just really think about and understand.
This is what I tell you guys, right? The guy got really mad over a parking space, walked up to this girl, she said, "Leave me alone." He didn't, and the lady shot him.
This is such a gross oversimplification of the matter. I'm going to show you guys a video of just how this guy tried to block her in and really show that he's like, "Oh, no, this is mine. This is mine. You don't get to decide. I get to decide." Sure, this may have started over two people disagreeing about a parking spot, but the man took it upon himself to go above and beyond in levels of cruelty and hatred towards this woman, saying like, no, I'm going to win whatever this is by blocking you in and making sure you can't go anywhere. Now, in that instance, when your autonomy is taken away from you, what choices do you have? How scared would you be? A lot of men might not be scared because you don't have to deal with this kind of stuff. But you don't really have to think about the worries of other men doing weird and crazy stuff to you, do you? No. But this woman immediately knew the problem that she was in. She realized that she was slowly losing the autonomy over the situation when she most likely just wanted to disengage, be away from this man. But what did he do? He got even crazier.
You don't know if someone's willing to throw away their life for it.
This is where the take gets really terrible. She is not throwing away her life for an argument. She is protecting her life in a situation that doesn't feel like she has a choice. Let's just break it down a little bit further. Maybe they had an argument, they're in a parking spot, now she's trying to leave, and what does this man do? This man parks in front of her car, tells her that you don't get to leave before I finish my argument. He then goes off to the side, waits for her to come out, and then starts chasing her around cars. Chasing her around, saying whatever he's saying, screaming at her, being like, "You're going to listen to me. You don't get to get in your car. You don't get to leave." And that right there is the problem. This man felt so secure in his dominance over other people that he was not letting somebody leave. So what did she do? She said, "Hey, if you don't stop chasing me, which you've already done for the past minute screaming at me, if you don't leave me alone, I am going to take it into my own hands." But of course, this guy was like, "You're not real. You're not going to do anything to me. You're just a girl," which is how these dumb men frickin' think. He's an army vet, dude. That doesn't mean you get to do this to people. That doesn't mean you get to just immediately take autonomy away from somebody else, especially a goddamn woman. Come on. This is fuck around and find out at its finest.
Surviving is a very easy thing to do if you just don't argue with people. Like, leave people alone out here. You don't know what people are capable of. People will do you and then not think twice about it and go eat a sandwich.
Are you trying to be funny, man? This isn't a funny situation. He's not wrong about people should just leave people alone, but that's not human nature. People are going to argue. But we need to actually be able to look at a situation and be like, "Oh, this person shot somebody over a parking spot." No. This person defended her life over a man chasing her around, deciding what she got to do instead of what she wanted to do. She needed to leave the situation. She gave him nothing but choices, and he still decided, "No, I get to decide. I am the chooser in the situation, not you. If I want to argue with you, you're going to sit there and listen. I'll block you in. I'll wait for you." Who knows how far this could have escalated? And honestly, I don't know if it could have escalated much farther than this. Also, your life isn't so busy that you need to be driving while filming a video. It's just a really dumb thing to do. You look at the camera a couple times, you're doing what you can, and that's actually distracting you from driving, but that's besides the point. Do not make videos while driving. Pretty much every news organization that's covering this is saying the same thing. They're like, "A man lost his life." over a parking spot? Like, no. A man lost his life because he decided to chase a woman around, make someone feel so uncomfortable, and then decide also not to heed their warnings, thinking that they're magically going to be okay in the situation. No one's going to do that, right? No one's going to shoot me because I'm not letting them leave. That's scary. And news organizations and other things really need to start displaying the reality of these situations. A woman was scared for her life because a man bigger than her was chasing her around for minutes, waited for her to come outside of a grocery store, and waited and parked in front of them, took away her autonomy and took away her choice, like so many men do. This is not a hard concept to understand, but I really hope this woman doesn't get any charges pressed against her, because I think that they're in a state with stand your ground, but even without stand your ground, what if this guy came up and started to grab her? What if this escalated to a gross, situation? So many onlookers were just sitting there filming it with their camera instead of getting in the way. Dude, if one person decided to just, walk over to the guy and be like, hey, it's not worth it, he'd still have his life. But instead we had people just filming and just not intervening, because intervening's scary, I get it, but we don't really get a right to judge because we weren't in the situation. And who knows what you would have done in that situation if you were so scared for your life constantly that you had the need to carry. Just think about it. This next bad take comes from the Relatables podcast. Now, they talk about an easy watching experience, what they don't get about women, right? What happens when a girl says, I just want to watch something that's easy. Now, these man brains that ends up happening here are thinking oh my God, you're just sitting there with your eyes glued to a screen. Everything is easy, except horror somehow. Make that make sense. But I think it's very straightforward, but I'd like to know what you guys think. Let's take a look.
Things women do that I don't understand.
From what I've seen, pretty much everything, but please go on.
Saying, can we only watch something easy before going to bed?
Oh no, it's a Zoom. He's confused already. It's been 3 seconds. Watch, they're gonna conflate what is physically easy to do with what's mentally easy to do, which is not a hard concept, but some reason they just can't figure it out.
Oh my God. Everything's easy to watch.
Everything's easy to watch because you sit there and watch it.
Exactly.
All my life I heard this phrase, men are exhausting, and I think this pretty much sums up why women and other men say this. It's the difference between something like, for them I'd say Fight Club, because Fight Club's a little bit heady if you've never seen it. Even if you have, it's a thinker, right? Donnie Darko. Compare that to maybe a comfort show like Friends that you've seen a whole bunch of times, maybe Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Recs, a show that you've seen a ton, but maybe it's just a simple comedy, something that's so easy you could tune out, tune in, and you know what's going on, right? It's not hard.
They recommend it. She's like, that's not easy. I'm like, we're doing the exact same thing.
Everything apart from horror is easy.
It's because they don't think. They don't think at all. Not when they watch a show, not when they're not watching a show. They don't think hard about anything. And you know what? That's their right to do so. You can do whatever the heck you want, but to not understand such a simple concept, and their freaking comment section is all saying the same thing. It's how do you guys not understand this? It's the difference between having to really think and pay attention and not having to pay attention. Here's an easy example for me and my wife. There'll be times where we share an anime and I'm really excited to watch it, but if she's just not in the mood, she doesn't want to pay that much attention, she really wants to decompress, she's not going to want to sit there and pay really hard attention to reading every single line in an anime so she can understand it. Instead, she probably just wants YouTube on or something simple and easy. Again, something that they can just tune in and out of, or a comfort show, something that they know what's going on, even if they can walk out of the room and come back. It doesn't matter. It's something that they don't have to pay attention to enjoy. Also, what makes horror hard? The fact that you're scared? There's nothing harder about horror than any of these other things. It's just a really weird example. That's the only thing they could think of. Oh man, if I'm getting scared, then I get it. You really gotta think about it? I don't know. I'm trying to really understand them, but they're so dense, it's hard. Oh no, I'm getting chased. That girl's getting chased. She's gonna get chopped up with chainsaw. I don't know. What is hard about that?
Yeah, you sit there, eyes, look, no matter what.
You want to know what? I know what it means.
What?
It's I want to watch something that I can scroll on my phone while watching it and still
still-
understand. That's what it is.
Okay, now I'm just confused. They understood the entire time, but yet, went in a circle sniffing their own farts, sticking their heads so far up their friend's ass, they're like, oh my god, we're so funny. We're so funny. You got eyes, don't you? Yeah, you just sit there and watch, right? Dude, you understood the entire time, but yet you're still making these really idiotic jokes for men that just don't get it. I'm thankful that you at least came around a little bit, but I don't even know if you truly believe that. It's less of like wanting to scroll and more about the mental load it takes. Like you kind of understood it, but you really don't. Like it's not just about scrolling. It's not just about that. It's about how taxing things are. I want y'all to think about the spoon theory. Now, the spoon theory doesn't only apply to chronic illness and ADHD people. It's saying that you only have a certain amount of spoons in a day, and certain tasks take a lot more spoons than other tasks. And by the end of the day, you don't have as many spoons to do the things that you like to do. So if you're sitting there trying to decompress, just trying to feel, just trying to not think about things, you've had a hard day. Even if you haven't, you're exhausted. You don't have any more spoons to spare on a TV show that might make you have to think. Now, a guy's not really going to think that hard. At least these guys are not going to think that hard, right? At the end of the day, you got to be able to put yourselves in your partner's shoes. And if you're not able to, then you're not really doing your best to accommodate what they need, because their needs are different, because they're a different person. You could sit there, you could sniff your friends' farts in a podcast, making each other laugh about how silly women are and how I just don't get it. But have you tried having a conversation with someone other than your friend? How about you talk to your partner, talk to your wife, talk to your girlfriend, talk to the person who's telling you these things and ask, hey, I don't understand this because I'm so dense, I'm just choosing not to. I kind of get it. You just want to scroll, right? No, they don't want the mental taxation that comes with doing something like that. And whether you think it is or not, doesn't matter, because it's not, we're not talking about you. You gotta get it. Spend the time to talk to your partner, not your friend, about this. And actually understand, so you can actually do every other man that watches your dumb podcast a favor and actually start explaining these things. I don't get it. Well, why don't you call a woman and ask, instead of just being dumb with the two of you, because your jokes are not funny. It's great that you make each other laugh. It's great. It's nice to have friends like that, right? But if you're just sitting there contributing to the toxic mentality that is manhood sometimes without having any empathy for another person, especially a woman, then you're just not helping anybody, and you're just perpetuating this freaking hateful rhetoric that women are so difficult, women are just this, I just don't get it. You do. You kind of get it, but maybe you need to educate yourself more before you start talking about it, dude. You're lame. Last one we got today is a pro-life versus pro-choice. And honestly, he doesn't even think it's pro-choice. He thinks it's pro-abortion, which is absolutely ridiculous. But his argument is so bad that he couldn't get a single person in his comment section to agree with him. And we dunked on him a little bit. Let's take a look.
So if a man finds out his girlfriend is pregnant with a girl, but he wants a boy, and he slips her the abortion pill...
You ready for possibly the worst argument for pro-life that I've ever seen? Right out the gate, we're committing a crime. We are drugging somebody, which is a major crime.
Slips her the abortion pill in order to kill his daughter. Should he be charged? And if so, with what?
Oh, here's their gotcha. He said unalive your daughter, but that's not what you're doing, is it? Unless you do a blood test, you're not really going to know the sex of your fetus until at least about 20 weeks plus, according to the research that I've done. Most people wait till around that time to get an ultrasound and find out if they want to find out. And apparently you can have an abortion upwards to 24 weeks. So you're really cutting it close with this information if you were to do such a terrible and heinous thing. He's really putting a lot of heavy-handed wordage to try and make you think something for pro-life, when in reality, this dude is committing a crime. You are drugging your loved one without their knowledge, and then you're taking away their choice. It's their body. They have the right to choose whether or not they want to keep it or get rid of it. Okay, that is the only thing that matters. Sure, you are one half of the equation that helped bring that unborn fetus into the world, But it is completely up to the woman to decide whether or not they want to continue carrying this, which can cause a lot of complications, a lot of other things, a lot of mental trauma, and all this other stuff that comes with pregnancy that they have to 100% take on. So they deserve to have 100% of the choice on whether or not they keep it. So you slipping them a pill is not only drugging them without consent, which is a huge crime, but you're taking away their choice when it's not your body and not your goddamn choice, dude. The abortion pill is pretty much safe, but there are, like every medication out there on the market, potential side effects that you do have to consider, and that is something that you really want to risk without even letting them know or talking to them. You want a boy so badly in this argument that, like, you can't wait to have another kid, or you can't have an honest discussion with them. Hey, buddy, you know you can adopt, right? You can see a child in need, go through the process, and be like, okay, I wanted a boy. Here's a boy that needs a home. But that's just pro-life people. They're not going to discuss. They're going to make the choice for you because they believe in a higher power. That's already a Bible.
I ask this of pro-abortion people all the time, and they say things.
Hold up, fam. Hey, it's not pro-abortion, it's pro-choice. You really got to get it right because the terminology matters. The way we're saying it matters. Pro-choice, the choice of the woman who is carrying the pregnancy to decide. It's her choice, her body.
And they say things like, well, yeah, he should be charged with assault. It's illegal to give somebody any sort of drug without their consent. He could have harmed her. Well, what if he goes on the stand and he says, listen, my intent was never to harm my girlfriend. I would never harm my girlfriend.
You see, Your Honor, I was in the club and I thought, there's this really sleepy girl and she was having trouble sleeping, so I went over and I roofied her drink. Not to do anything. I would never do anything to a woman or hurt them, but I just thought, hey, they could use some sleep, and I got the perfect thing that'll help them do that. Oh yeah, it's a pretty good point. Pretty good point. And you didn't think that they could make this choice for themselves? You don't think they didn't want that to happen? Your Honor, if I may, I'm a man, and I just have the ability to make way more sound decisions than them. So I figured that I would just make the decision, no big deal, and do them the favor of making the choice for them. That's genuinely how ridiculous this sounds. Like, you don't get to make the choice, and it doesn't matter if you intended to harm them or not. In that instance, you are not thinking for a second about the repercussions that can come with something like that. Miscarriages and more create so much mental turmoil for a woman. It's scary, it's nerve-wracking, and you will never understand it. So your pro-life freaking argument here, thrown out the water. You would not last a second in court with that kind of reasoning, but he thinks he's so smart.
I wanted to make sure that the baby died. My intention was not to harm my girlfriend. My intention was to kill that baby. Should he then be charged with murder?
This is one of the reasons why I think it's so disgusting that some states are trying to make it not only illegal to get an abortion, but to charge the mother with murder. Murder! A first-degree felony if they get an abortion, even if it complicates their life, even if they know something bad's going to happen to the baby. No matter what, even if somebody was R-worded, they have to continue to carry it because, or it's murder. He should absolutely be charged with assault because that's what it is. You are assaulting this woman and taking away her choice. And that is wrong in every single way. You are so scared as a man to have a conversation with your partner, your wife, whatever, that you are going to take it into your own hands and possibly cause them irreparable damage. Not only mentally, but physically. Bad things can happen. Complications can happen. Just look up. Look it up. There's all this different great information out there about the complications of abortion pills and stuff like that. It's not the complications of whether or not it's going to work. It's the complications of afterwards, okay? Afterwards, what comes with it. And if just one day she thinks she has a miscarriage or she thinks something happened to something that she was carrying in her body for that long, that fetus, not baby, the fetus, you were not killing the fetus, you are terminating the fetus. And we try to use different terminology so we can separate that idea because it's important because this is science, not religion, not feeling. This is science. And it's really telling in the comment sections where this guy refuses to talk about any good arguments that's being had, any of the pro-choice arguments that are happening in the comments he refuses, and he's just going to the little people that are saying either what he agrees with, being like, yeah, you get it, or going to the people that actually make a good argument and being like, well, can't you answer the question? Just answer the question. It's like, no, we are. Everybody's answering the question, but you don't want to see it. You think you have this freaking gotcha. Oh, I'm so freaking smart. When in reality, you're just a pro-life idiot who is a man who can't get pregnant, doesn't understand what comes with it, and thinks you know better than the woman, the person who has to carry the potential child. This is just such a frustrating part of our society right now, as we're slowly rolling back all of the protections that we have had for women and so much that they have fought for. It's always been a patriarchy. Men have always had the choice. Women have just barely in the last, 50, 60, 70 years starting to get the actual choice over their own body, which they should have had all along. It's ridiculous. And now we're finally at a point where women have the choice. Women have the ability to do what's right for them. And that's beautiful and the most important part of continuing to evolve as a species. We need to give everybody the choice to do whatever they need to with their body. And trying to make a dumb argument like this is never going to help the conversation. You're only going to make yourself look like an idiot.
As you can see, it's really easy to have a bad take, especially when you're just trying to use whatever you can for content. Like the first guy, didn't even bother to go into the nuance, and everybody in my comment section was saying the same freaking thing. You don't understand what he's saying. You don't understand what he's saying. He's saying just leave people alone. But hey, when you're talking about something this important, the nuance matters. That woman feared for her life and did what she could to protect it, and gave nothing but choice to this man, and he chose not to take it. It's a way too common story that we need to actually speak up about. The Relatables podcast, those guys are just kind of losers, if you ask me. You know, you're allowed to like them, you're allowed to make your friend laugh, but when you take a situation that's so easy to understand and just make fun of an entire freaking gender, dude, you're not funny, and you're not helping the conversation. And the pro-life person? Come on, man. If you're not pro-choice, you're not on the right side of this. If you're not a woman, I don't really feel like you have a lot of legs to stand on in this kind of situation. We, as men, do not have to carry the child. So we, as men, shouldn't have the choice. I think it's just that simple. I really appreciate y'all for checking out my content. I'm going to be trying to put out a little bit more. I know I love my music stuff. We're still going to be doing that, but I loved my reaction content. I love these rant videos, and, honestly, they're not doing too bad over on TikTok. The first one actually got 250K views, which I know a lot of my old subscribers, you're going to be rooting for me on that one, and I appreciate it. So I hope to see you in the next ones, but I sure hope you enjoyed this one. Peace out.